today we have Christina's 2012 here on the dyno. And Christina, why don't you tell us a little bit about the truck and what you're here for today?
Okay, well basically the truck's built to the kilt. It makes a ton of horsepower, and I really had some tuning issues that I wanted to address, and it had some surging and things like that. The reverse camera didn't work and things like that, so I brought it out to Levon to have him take care of that issue for me and just kind of iron out some old tuning issues that I wanted to address. So,
good. Well, yeah, this is, we drove it around the block when she first got here, and this had a manual base file in it. Being this swap was done a couple years ago, this didn't have a controller on it to get the park reverse neutral drive and all that working. So before we put it on the dyno here, we put a porcupine on it this afternoon, and already just on a quick test drive with an automatic base file, it's already driving much better than what it was when it came in. Because with the manual base file, the 2012s want to defuel the truck before it's in torque converter lockup, because it thinks the clutch is slipping. So when we can put a porcupine on it and leave an automatic file in it, it makes the truck a lot happier. But overall, this setup it's got a belt motor, Brillo rods, correct? And 625 head studs. It has Exergy 150% injectors, a 10 mil pump on the bottom with a stock pump on top, and a 465 over 588 twin turbo setup.
Yes.
Intercooler, 48 RE swap, pretty much everything you need. And something else that's unique about this truck is it only has 3,500 miles.
Right.
It is a 2012 limited truck, and it is mint. So we're looking forward to putting it through its paces, just fine-tuning everything and getting this thing dialed in for Christina.
Yes.
And we'll be all set. Okay, you can see all the service four-wheel drive lights are on because we're on the dyno, but otherwise we're going to run tune 5. (1,207 horsepower). This is boost on tune 3. Still did 1,100 horsepower. Okay, we got Christina's truck all wrapped up. We finished the day at 1,207 horsepower, and everything is driving great. Very nice and smooth. It's clean. Tune 1 did 743 horsepower, so he has almost a 500 horsepower range of horsepower. And this thing is ready to hit the streets, and it is very drivable, very clean, and I think she's going to really enjoy the improvement of fine-tuning this setup. Okay, I want to take off here and I want to show you guys how clean it really drives. You can see the tailpipe and it's literally zero smoke. Cannot ask for better than that. So this thing came in a running truck, swapped, but with just putting a porcupine on this thing, we are able to gain cruise control, reverse camera, 4 low, and the park reverse neutral drive display works. So this is a much more refined truck for being a 2012 limited. It's nice to have all the bells and whistles work. Remote start will also work now. So pretty much everything that did not work when it showed up works with just going to a porcupine file and a custom tune file. You can see the reverse camera is working. Check the remote start. Works like a champ. Okay, this is Kane Howard's truck. This is the third 2012 we've dynoed today. And he came in this morning and we pulled the transmission out and fixed he had a converter hub that cracked and it tore up the pump and line pressure became low, so you noticed the shifts were getting soft. So we pulled the trans, repaired it, and got the trans back in this afternoon, and we are on the dyno. And I'll let Kane go over his setup. Tell us a little bit what you've done to your truck, and we'll go from
It has S&S 150% over injectors. It's got Jose at forced induction 67 105 with an 87 turbine and a T690 housing on it. Kind of an oddball for that size turbo.
Seems to drive pretty nice though.
It's got twin CP3s, and one of the CP3s is Fleece's CP3K and an AirDog 200. One thing I like about it is it has a D&J Stage 1 ported head on it.
And you've done a lot of towing. I always see pictures of him on Facebook with a gooseneck full of round bales or something like that. The truck does a lot of real work, and you've been through the paces. You were on the dyno, what, last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was last fall.
Yeah.
It had a 467 83 with a T690 housing on it as well. And this truck's done a ton of towing. It's towed anything between 35,000 pounds up to 44,000 pounds. I've also got a Comp 3 Firepunk transmission with the anteater, and I was able to control that and manage having a performance truck and also be able to tow very heavy with it as well.
Yep. So pretty much we had a baseline last year. Did what was it? 825? What did it do?
863.
863 with the 83 turbine. So the main change from last year to this year was the bigger turbine side of the 68mm turbo, and so we're going to put it through its paces and see what it makes today. Okay, we got Kane's truck all wrapped up. The first revision we had done, rail pressure kind of ran away, overshot rail pressure all the way up, maxed out the sensor, and on that tune it did 959 horsepower. So we adjusted the tune accordingly and back down, got rail pressure where it regulated nice, and that did a max effort of 925 horsepower where rail pressure is in a safe range. And then we have tune 1 did 410 horsepower, tune 2 did 567, tune 3 did 739, and tune 4 did 847 horsepower. So he's got a wide range of horsepower that he can turn this truck up and down. We're going to get off the dyno and go do some street driving, make sure it's got no bad habits basically. That's the main thing we look for on the road, is that it's driving clean. We have the smoke map as good as we can get it, and no obnoxious injector rattle or anything like that. We always try to find a balance between staying clean and not having a lot of rattle, because as we increase our rail pressure and a couple other adjustments, we generally decrease the smoke output, but then you can pick up some injector chatter as well. So you want to try to find a nice balance between the two, but we are ready to get this thing off the dyno and send him on his way. How's throttle response? Is it different?
Oh yeah, it's more linear with the pedal.
Okay.
Also, the smoke is cleared up a lot, and it just feels like a much more drivable truck, much more refined.
Yeah, a lot of that is just mostly in just building a air-fuel ratio table. Because a lot of guys back in the day, we used to just disable the air-fuel ratio table and get it up out of the way, but now as injector sizes have increased, it really has made it nice to be able to fine-tune that smoke curve where you can drive a bigger injector truck with a lot less smoke on the street.